you ever wondered if a simple daily practice could sharpen your mind, protect your memory, and even help you sleep better as you age? It's an intriguing idea, and one that scientists have started to explore with surprising results. We tend to think of brain health in terms of puzzles, crosswords, or maybe high-tech solutions. But what if the real key lies in slowing down, breathing deeply, and moving with intention? A team of researchers at the University of Pennsylvania recently studied Baduanjin Qigong, an ancient Chinese mind-body exercise. Baduanjin literally means 8 pieces of brocade. It's a sequence of 8 gentle, flowing movements that are designed to bring harmony to body and mind. The practice is simple. It requires no equipment, no athletic background, and no more than a few minutes each day. For older adults, especially those dealing with changes in balance, flexibility, or energy, Qigong offers something accessible and safe. But beyond that, this study shows it may also offer something powerful for the brain. The research team worked with 78 older adults at a senior daycare center in Philadelphia's Chinatown. Most of the participants were women in their late 70s, with an age range between 66 and 93. This was a particularly meaningful group to study because Chinese immigrant communities in the United States often face health disparities. They may struggle with language barriers or limited access to culturally familiar healthcare. Offering Qigong, a practice rooted in their own tradition, created both comfort and relevance. The participants were divided into 2 groups. One group practiced Qigong 5 days a week for 10 weeks. Each session lasted about 30 minutes, with a warm-up, a 12-minute guided video, time for movement corrections, and a brief question period. The control group didn't participate in the exercise sessions. They simply continued with their regular daily routines at the center. By setting things up this way, the researchers could compare outcomes between those who practiced Qigong and those who didn't. To measure changes, the researchers looked at both cognition and sleep. Cognition was assessed in 2 ways. First, they asked participants to rate their own memory and thinking. This gave a sense of subjective cognition. Second, they used a computerized visual memory test where participants had to recognize images they had seen before. This offered an objective measure. Sleep quality was also measured using the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, a well-known questionnaire that looks at duration, disturbances, and overall restfulness. Based on their scores, participants were categorized as good sleepers or poor sleepers. So what did they find? After 10 weeks, the Qigong group showed real improvements. They reported feeling sharper, and they performed better on the memory tests. In contrast, the control group showed no improvement at all. In fact, some declined, which is consistent with what we know about natural cognitive changes in older adults when no intervention is offered. The difference between the 2 groups was striking. But the story doesn't end there. Sleep played a fascinating role. The benefits of Qigong were strongest for participants who were poor sleepers at the beginning of the study. Those who already slept well didn't experience the same cognitive boost. This suggests that Qigong may be especially effective for people who are struggling with rest. And when the researchers looked closer, they found that improvements in sleep helped explain improvements in cognition. For participants who were not very physically active outside of the study, better sleep fully mediated the link. In plain terms, Qigong led to better sleep, and better sleep led to clearer thinking. Why does this matter? Because sleep is essential for brain health. During deep sleep, the brain consolidates memories. clears out waste products, and restores balance. Poor sleep disrupts attention, problem solving, and emotional regulation. Over time, it increases the risk of dementia. For many older adults, sleep becomes fragmented, shallow, or difficult to maintain. If a practice like Qigong can help restore healthy sleep, it can indirectly protect the brain. And for people who are already at higher risk, those who are less active or already struggling with sleep, the benefits may be even greater. This study also highlights the importance of culturally tailored interventions. For the Chinese elders in Philadelphia, practicing Baduanjin wasn't just exercise. It was a connection to tradition, to identity, and to community. That sense of belonging likely supported both participation and benefit. It's a reminder that health practices work best when they feel familiar and meaningful. Now, there are a few limitations to consider. The study wasn't randomized. That means we can't say with absolute certainty that Qigong alone caused the improvements. The sample size was relatively small, just 78 participants, and sleep was measured by self-report, which can sometimes differ from objective measures like wearable devices. Still, the findings align with a growing body of evidence showing that mind-body practices improve both sleep and cognition. What's unique here is the demonstration that sleep isn't just a byproduct. It's part of the mechanism that links Qigong to better brain function. Think for a moment about the simplicity of this. We often look for complicated answers to complex problems. But sometimes the path forward is gentle, low-tech, and rooted in wisdom that has been with us for centuries. For older adults, especially those at risk of cognitive decline, Qigong offers a safe, accessible practice. For caregivers and community centers, it's an intervention that can be scaled, taught, and shared without expensive equipment or specialized training. The deeper lesson is this: the health of the brain is not separate from the rhythms of the body. Movement, breath, rest, and mindfulness all weave together. When sleep is restored, the brain can do its work of clearing, storing, and strengthening. When the body moves with intention, stress eases and balance returns. Qigong integrates these pieces into one practice, and for those who practiced 5 days a week, even for just 10 weeks, the benefits were clear. So what can we take away? If you are an older adult, or if you are supporting someone in your family or community, consider introducing a simple daily Qigong routine. It doesn't need to be long. 12 minutes of guided practice may be enough to make a difference. If sleep is already a challenge, there's even more reason to give it a try. And if you're not very physically active, starting with something gentle and culturally meaningful like Qigong may open the door to broader benefits. The bigger picture here is hopeful. Dementia rates are rising worldwide, and the costs of care are enormous. But interventions like this remind us that protecting the brain doesn't always require medications or complex technology. Sometimes it's about creating space for the body to move slowly, breathe deeply, and rest well. So, the next time you find yourself thinking about brain health, remember that it isn't just about mental exercises or crossword puzzles. It's about lifestyle practices that restore the body and create conditions for the mind to thrive. Qigong is one such practice, and this study shows it can be a powerful ally in supporting cognition, especially through its impact on sleep. As you reflect on this, imagine starting your morning with a few gentle movements. Picture yourself breathing slowly, calming your thoughts, and setting the rhythm for your day. Later, when you rest at night, that calmness carries over. Your sleep becomes deeper, your memory sharper, your mood lighter. That's the promise of practices like Qigong. Not dramatic, overnight changes, but steady, meaningful improvements that protect health over time. If you've enjoyed this reflection, I invite you to share it with someone who might benefit. Perhaps an older parent, a grandparent, or a friend who struggles with sleep. Encourage them to try a simple daily practice. And if you'd like to explore more of the science and tradition behind Qigong, subscribe to this podcast and join me for future episodes. Together, we'll continue to bridge ancient wisdom with modern research and explore ways to live with greater clarity, vitality, and balance. If you've been enjoying the show, I'd also be grateful if you could take a moment to leave a 5-star review. It helps others discover the podcast, and it supports the work of bringing both scientific insight and timeless practice to a wider audience.